There are several factors to consider when analyzing a company's days payable outstanding. These include the company's days payable outstanding relative to its industry and trends in the company's days payable outstanding over time. A high days payable outstanding means the company is paying its suppliers slowly. The cash conversion cycle will be shorter and the company will require less financing for inventory. However, a very high days payable outstanding could mean the company is forfeiting early payment discounts, incurring late fees, and damaging relationships with suppliers. Thus, the highest days payable outstanding is not necessarily the optimal days payable outstanding. But assuming no harm is being done, a high days payable outstanding is preferable to a low one. Now, days payable outstanding varies across industries. Credit terms that are considered standard in one industry might be unacceptable in another industry. Even within a specific industry like retail, days payable outstanding can vary considerably across firms. In 2021, for example, days payable outstanding ranged from just 31 for Costco to 69 for Target. Costco clearly paid its suppliers a lot faster than its peers, with Target taking more than twice as long to pay its suppliers. Now, there are several reasons a company might have a much higher days payable outstanding than its peers. The company has superior accounts payable processes. The company has negotiated better payment terms with its suppliers. The company is delaying payments because it's short on cash. The company is delaying payments to inflate its operating cash flow. Or the company's days payable outstanding is calculated differently than days payable outstanding for its peer firms. Let's start with operational excellence. A company might have a higher days payable outstanding than its peer firms because it's simply doing a better job managing the accounts payable function. For example, the company might have processes in place to make sure that bills are only paid when they come due. In other words, if the supplier is offering 30 days to pay with no incentive for early payment, then the company shouldn't be paying on day 6 or day 8 or day 10. It should pay as close to day 30 as possible. Some companies are better at making sure they do this than others. Next, let's talk about negotiation. A company might have a higher days payable outstanding than its peer firms because it's doing a better job negotiating payment terms with its suppliers. Target, for example, might be able to convince its suppliers to accept payment in 70 days, whereas Dollar General's suppliers might be requiring payment in 60 days. Large companies that make high volume purchases typically have more negotiating power when it comes to setting payment terms. Yet firm size doesn't explain everything, because Walmart had a lot more sales revenue than Target, and Walmart paid its suppliers more quickly than Target did. It's possible that Target simply did a better job negotiating payment terms, that Target has more leverage with its suppliers when it comes to negotiating, or that Walmart chose to pay more quickly to take advantage of early payment discounts. Now, another reason that a company might have a higher days payable outstanding than its peer firms is that that company is in financial distress and is experiencing a cash crunch. Such a company would naturally wait as long as possible to pay its suppliers due to its lack of cash. Now, another reason a company might have a higher days payable outstanding than that of its competitors is if the company is delaying payment of vendors to try and inflate its operating cash flow. Some analysts closely monitor operating cash flow, which gives companies an incentive to report as high a figure as possible. Target's operating cash flow, for example, increased from just over $7 billion in 2019 to over $10.5 billion in 2020, but 85% of that increase in operating cash flow was due to an increase in Target's accounts payable. Target's operating cash flow declined to just over $8.6 billion in 2021, but that figure would have been even lower without another increase in Target's accounts payable. Thus, increases in Target's days payable outstanding led to increases in Target's operating cash flow. Now, delaying payment to suppliers conserves cash and can be a good financing strategy, provided that the company isn't forfeiting valuable early payment discounts, incurring late fees, or damaging relationships with suppliers. Target provided no information in its 10-K about its credit terms or whether it forfeited early payment discounts or incurred late charges, so we don't know the cost of its delayed payment. What is clear, however, is that by delaying payment to suppliers, Target substantially increased its operating cash flow. Yet another reason that companies might have a different days payable outstanding is that they calculate the metric differently. For example, let's say you calculate days payable outstanding using cost of goods sold. If one company uses FIFO to calculate cost of goods sold, while the other company uses the average cost method to calculate cost of goods sold, then the cost of goods sold figures won't be comparable because they were computed using different inventory cost flow assumptions, and thus days payable outstanding for each firm wouldn't be comparable. So now that we talked about some reasons that two companies in the same industry might have a different days payable outstanding, let's talk about why a company's days payable outstanding might change over time. For example, let's say that you see that a company's days payable outstanding has increased significantly over the past few years. The company is likely delaying payment of its suppliers, and this could be because general economic conditions have worsened, the company is experiencing financial difficulties, the company has negotiated more favorable credit terms with its suppliers, or the company is manipulating its operating cash flow. Days payable outstanding increased for all four of these retailers from 2012 to 2021. Costco's days payable outstanding was the most stable, increasing by just a single day during that time span. Both Target and Dollar General experienced significant increases, however, with Dollar General's days payable outstanding increasing by nearly 50% during that time span. Neither Target nor Dollar General were in financial distress during that time period, so financial problems were not the cause of the increase in days payable outstanding. A more likely explanation is that Target and Dollar General were able to negotiate extended payment terms with their suppliers, and or that they delayed payment of suppliers to increase their operating cash flow. If you'd like to receive the PDF guides I've created on each of these topics, you can sign up for my email list using the link in the description section below. You can also access the PDF guides immediately by becoming a supporter on Patreon.